Hey, what's going on, guys? All right. So I'm taking another route to get home because my mind told me you need to avoid bad things at all costs. I'm gonna turn the camera the other way. So I did mess up today. I fell asleep and I didn't get around putting money on my card so I can get a rail pass or my mother a trans pass this week. But I'll get to it tomorrow. Happy Sabbath to everybody out there. I'm only getting in the habit of honoring the Sabbath 100%. Everything I'm doing, it's a habit. Everything is a process. And the more I do it, the better I get at it. You know? But I am working towards being more righteous, being more of a man of God. And it's a choice I made, and it's a good choice. So today, I decided to go with my mom to church, to her church. She usually attends the church in the more downtown part of town, the more downtown part of the city. See, my church is in North Philadelphia. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to be straight up. So for one, I shouldn't be doing videos on the Sabbath. I said I wasn't going to do any on the Sabbath, but I already messed it up. But I don't work on the Sabbath. I don't work on the Sabbath for one. I haven't worked on the Sabbath since like April when I left that warehouse job. But I'm giving you guys a message, and you don't have to take everything. You don't have to internalize everything I say. But the things I say are just something to think about. It's nothing that I thought of myself. Let's just say that when I was doing my stuff, these things were just explained to me, and I'm sharing it with you. So I told the pastor at my mom's church that I'm going to start coming here because I think the neighborhood that is in is relatively good compared to the one my church is in. The neighborhood that my church is in is not in a good neighborhood. Like, I'm not putting nobody on camera, but the people on this bus are pretty good. And I know why they're good. It's their spirit that makes them good. Because you can have a different complexion and be good. Like I said, that's why Jesus is so great. Because Jesus, he saves you. But yeah, it is my belief that the video I did on skin complexion, my theory on that can be applied also to teeth. When you think about teeth, your teeth start off white. Just like I was saying, people started off white, and that's how we have different races. I think that the more people engaged in, my light's on. Turn this on. So the more people engaged in sin is the reason why we have different races, different colors. You know, like I said, teeth start off white, then they turn yellow when you don't brush them, when you don't floss, when you drink soda and juice, and you don't go to the dentist. You know, that stuff stains your teeth. So then they're yellow, and then when you really don't have a regard, when you don't have a care for your teeth, you totally disregard your teeth. they eventually turn brown. And then when you just stop caring altogether, they turn black and they fall out. And that can be applied to people. People can do so many bad things on this earth that, yeah, you can change colors. Just how teeth change colors, cuts change colors, gums change colors, people can change colors. That's my belief. And it's not to stir up controversy. That's just something that makes the most sense to me. Because I don't think that any group is better than the other. Somebody commented on my video that I did on skin complexion, and I agree with them. There are bad people in all groups. Yeah, I can acknowledge that. There are bad whites, there are bad blacks, there are bad Asians, Hispanics, there are bad people in all groups. And I don't hate nobody, but I am willing to acknowledge that it's a good possibility your skin complexion is a result of the bad you've done in the world. Because if you have rotten black teeth, is that good or bad? Okay, that's my point. Because that whole theory can be applied to everything. Like, I am no longer going to attend my church that's in North Philadelphia because the neighborhood is so bad. The neighborhood isn't good. It's bad. And you may have to take a drink every time I say good or bad. I'm going to say a lot in this video, but the neighborhood isn't good. It's bad. It's a bad neighborhood. It's a good place in that bad neighborhood. The good place is the church. But it's a bad neighborhood. And it's only going to make me feel bad going in the bad neighborhood. So my mind was telling me, go somewhere that's actually good. And my mom's church just happened to be somewhere that's good. And that's what I did. I went somewhere that's good. But I attended my mom's church for the first time in 10 years, and I was really well received there. It's a smaller congregation. You have the choice of getting there like 9, because Sabbath school is from like 9:30 to like 10:30. So I'm gonna start. Because here's the thing. Another thing is too, I don't have a car at the moment, so my mom likes to get on the train. I see the bad in catching the train. I don't think it's good people on the train if they blatantly evade service. That there shows you they have no respect for the law or the bus system, because if too many people evade fare, then there's going to be a shortage of buses. But she doesn't like to acknowledge the bad in the city, at least to the extent that I do. Like, I'm willing to acknowledge that, because I'm just going to just get a little non-religious for a second. I'm willing to acknowledge that black people are more violent than any other group. And in regards to being a civilian, I'm not talking about war. I'm not talking about something that happened decades or centuries ago. I'm talking about presently now. I can acknowledge that mostly black young men are the most violent group in America in regards to being a civilian, someone that's not in the armed services. Because whenever you say black men are the most violent, people like to reference war, people like to reference slavery or Christopher Columbus, which has nothing to do with the conversation. But she doesn't like to acknowledge it to the extent that I do. And I understand, she wants a peaceful mind. She wants to think about good thoughts. But I can't have good thoughts when all around me is bad. I can't have those good thoughts because I'm going to be saturated with bad thoughts when all I have around me is things that are bad. So I went with her to her church, and service was pretty good because I wasn't worried about anything bad happening to me outside, because the church is in a pretty good area. It's closer to downtown, because people that live downtown, they either work or have like an apartment or a condo downtown. They don't even know it themselves, but they live righteously too, because you have people that aren't even Christian that live righteously. Because the whole point of this channel, I want to promote the right way of living. You don't necessarily have to be a Christian to walk in righteousness. But what do you think follows righteousness more? A Section 8 part of a Section 8 housing authority project, like the projects, the ghetto, or a condominium, an upscale neighborhood, the suburbs? Do you think people that work and raise their children in a certain way and work legally, do you think they follow righteousness more, or people that live in the ghetto? See, what I try to avoid are people who do the wrong things. That's where I'm at in life right now. I do what I can to avoid people who live the wrong way. But the whole thing about heaven now, because this is what this video is about, I believe that heaven is something that you can achieve, but it's not going to take just one life to do. That's why I don't share this with other Christians. I believe that heaven is achievable if you do nothing but good in your life. You can achieve heaven, but it's going to take time, like maybe 30 lifetimes the most. And let me explain. So if you look at my channel, I have dark skin. Nothing wrong with that, because this is the thing, I don't have a problem with anything. I don't have a problem with my features, I don't have a problem with my skin color, but I can acknowledge that it's a good possibility my skin color is a result of the bad I've done in life, because I don't see anybody interfering with how things are. I think they are the way they are for a reason. If no one interfered with slavery, if no one interferes with the system of white supremacy, people talk about it so much, if no one interfered with it going on, those slave ships came here successfully in America, I think things are the way they are for a reason. Like I said, the whole idea of race was created by man, because it's not God, it's not the earth calling black people racial slurs. God or the earth has never compared black people to monkeys. God and the earth has never compared whites to cavemen. God didn't start the KKK. I believe that he appointed people that are good with lighter skin, and he specifically wanted them to lead and guide the way. Now they're not above God, but he wanted the people who follow his word correctly, they apply it to their life and they read his word. He wanted them to have an easier life, and the ones that don't, those are the ones that have a harder life. Those are the ones that have to follow and serve those that have lighter skin. That's my belief. That I just don't believe for a second, if you did nothing wrong and you're given a tough deal of, like, you haven't been given like an easy set of cards your whole life, like you grew up in foster care, You went to prison for most of your life. You were homeless. Your parents abused you. They neglected you. I don't think it's something you should be given like randomly. I think it's something you probably did in another life, and it's just your karma for that. But yeah, I believe that people that have fair skin, and you just look at, let me just say this too. You look at the spirit of someone who is like Elon Musk. I'm not saying Elon Musk in particular, but just someone with a lot of money, someone with a nice career. They're happy. They follow righteousness to some degree. But someone with less money, someone with less opportunity, with a low-paying job, they're not really happy people. But this is the point I'm making. I'm not saying people with fair skin, they don't struggle. But I noticed that people that are a lot darker, they struggle more. They have more of a sadder spirit. Their spirit is lower, while the fair-skinned spirit is higher. Sorry, the two ladies kind of threw my train of thought off, talking so loud right in front of each other. But hold on, guys. How heaven can be achieved now is simply like this. Wherever you are on the hierarchy, wherever your skin tone is, I feel that you can go higher and higher. So I'm dark-skinned, right? I feel that if I were to live in righteousness for like maybe 30 lifetimes, at some point in 30 lifetimes would be 3,000 years. If I were to live to about like 100, that's like 3,000 years. But I would have to do everything good. And the best example for people for someone to do good is Jesus. That's a good example. But I feel like this. You start off like having dark skin. Eventually, if you do enough good, you'll elevate to like brown skin, and then yellow, and then white. And at some point, if you do so good in your physical body, at some point your soul will leave your physical body and you will be awarded with heaven. Because the highest you can go on the physical hierarchy, like when it comes to people, is white. And that's when you would leave your physical body and you would attain heaven. Just how it goes, you can go low. Hold up. Got some ambulance behind the bus.
$8 fare instrument is required.
Alright, so
Stop Thompson.
the best way to obtain heaven is simply just doing good things, staying away from evil, and that's just what that is. Like I said, the highest you can go on the hierarchy would be white. And I really believe at some point, if you do a lot, like enough good, you would leave your physical body and your soul will go higher and higher and higher and higher. And just how there's no biggest number, there's no end to the sky.
Doors are closing.
There's no end to the heavens. But you'll go higher and higher and higher. And you would only come back down if you're doing bad, like the devil. The devil was doing bad and he was let back down. But yeah, heaven is achievable. You just have to do good. And that is very ambiguous what I said. The way I described it, see, I'm describing it in the non-Christian way. You were taught that you only have one life, and if you don't do enough good in that one life, you're not going to go to heaven. But I feel that heaven is something you have to work towards. It's going to take some time to obtain. And I could dedicate 3,000 years on earth to obtain heaven. But I feel like you have to go through every hierarchy, like every scale on the hierarchy to obtain heaven. And heaven is the sky. Like, I don't know, maybe your soul will become part of the sky that way. Maybe you'll be a star. Maybe you'll be I don't know what you'll become, but I just feel like you'll become part of the sky. Because we are on earth. But like I said, I have dark skin, so I feel like it'll go like this. Because I don't know if your gender changes or not. I don't know if the gender changes, if I'll become like a woman or not. But I feel like it goes like this. I'm dark skinned now. So then eventually I'll be, if I do enough good, I'll have, a little lighter skin. Maybe I'll be like brown skinned, then I'll be light skinned, and then I'll be, brown again. Like I don't know if it goes like this. I don't know if it goes like every variation of black, and then every variation of Hispanic, every variation of Asian. I don't know if it goes like that. But you would have to go through lifetimes of every variation of, I guess, of that color or that group. And that would take like 30 lifetimes. So that's about 3,000 years. And like I said, the higher you go, you eventually leave your physical body and you go higher and higher. But then another way of looking at it too, if I am awarded like power and influence from following righteousness, like they give me Donald Trump or Elon Musk kind of power, and I use that for good. What if I use my power and influence to spread goodness in the world? I feel like I would make heaven on earth, because if I have enough power, people will follow what I say, and the earth would already be good. If I spread goodness, heaven would be on earth technically, because people listen to you if you have power and influence. But heaven is achievable.